Counting down the centers across 8 categories on my fantasy rankings, and number 1 isn't Dwight Howard, it's DeMarcus Cousins. I'm no longer worried about the flakeouts and the techs and the suspensions and all that stuff. He spent the summer with Coach K and Jerry Colangelo in USA Basketball. He's got Shaquille O'Neal as a part of the ownership group of the Kings. There's an infrastructure. There is leadership and direction around Cuz. And all he needed was that. The skills have always been there. Statistically, he is going to be the best center in fantasy basketball. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. In at number 2, Joakim Noah of the Bulls, and man, did he have a season a year ago. Triple doubles from the center position, huge assist totals, like record-breaking assist totals, still blocking shots, still giving you double-doubles. And you say, wow, Powell is there and Rose is coming back. What happens to Noah? He's going to continue to play the same exact game. Think about it. He didn't spike up to 20 points per game. He still hovered around 10 and gave you all those other goodies. Nothing is going to change. Joakim Noah is going to be one of those sneaky guys that nobody wants to play against, and you're going to want. Number 3 is Al Jefferson of the Hornets, and he is above Dwight Howard, who I'll get to in a second, because I'm not worried about Al Jefferson in the free throw percentage. Dwight Howard just drags you down in that category. And Big Al last year, 20 and 10 for then the Bobcats, and he's a leader. He's, in my opinion, the reason they spiked all the way up to 43 wins and 7th in the East. And Al Jefferson is going to continue drop-stepping people, hooking you with the right, hooking you with the left, and just being a reliable stud for your fantasy team. Number 4 is Dwight Howard. If Dwight gets to 20 and 10 or 22 and 12 and gets his blocks above 2 per game, he will move right back to the number 1 fantasy center. Oh yeah, did I mention that he's one of the worst free throw shooters of all time? And entering weeks in fantasy basketball of head-to-head play, you know you are losing free throw percentage if you have Dwight Howard. So Dwight, give us all the other goodies and keep a smile on our face, please. Number 5 is Marc Gasol of the Memphis Grizzlies, who had a down season last year by his high standards because of that knee injury. He was rolling, then hurt the knee, missed a bunch of games, came back, tweaked the knee at least a couple of times. It wasn't quite right. He was a battler for his team, and that's awesome, and his numbers were pretty good, but the talk of Grizzlies camp this year is that Gasol is back. Don't sleep on him. Other people will. Make him a very high pick, probably about a 3rd or 4th round pick. He is my number 5 center. My number 6 center is Chris Bosh of the Miami Heat, who I think is going to get back to 2010 status or thereabouts. The rebounds might be a little below that, but he was about a block per game last year. The talk is he's going to be in the paint more with LeBron out of there and in a new look in Miami. So I can see the blocks getting back to about 1.5. I think realistic expectation for Bosh is about 19 points, 8 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 50 and 80 in the field goal and free throw percentages, and he plays every night. Chris Bosh is going to be a bargain. He's going to play power forward or center for your team. Don't sleep on C. Bosh. Number 7 is Al Horford of the Atlanta Hawks, who would be higher on this list if I weren't still a little bit concerned about the torn pec muscle from a year ago. He still, as we talk here right at the beginning of training camp, isn't all the way up to speed for contact. He told me personally that he's going to be ready. He's just kind of ramping up for the start of the regular season, but I just don't trust that he's going to be able to play 80 games. I hope he can, and if he can, he's going to put up great numbers. He was about 18 and 10 last year before that pec injury, but that injury concern has caused me to drop him down to number 7. Number 8 is Brooklyn Nets center Brook Lopez, and he's number 8 with my fingers crossed, my toes crossed. I've got eyebrows that are crossed for this guy. He's obviously a tremendous stat guy when healthy. Problem is, it's foot surgery after foot surgery after foot surgery. But word on the street out of Brooklyn, he's going for it this year. He doesn't want to play with restrictions. He just wants to go as long as he can go. He's a 20-point-per-game guy. He blocks shots. Yes, the rebounds are light. The percentages are great. Brook Lopez, if you can get him like in the mid-rounds, I would not take him in the first 5 rounds, but if you can get him round 6, round 7, I think you could pay big, big dividends as a sleeper type of center for your team. Number 9 is Nick Vucevic of the Orlando Magic, who's maybe the most underrated player in all of basketball. Nobody talks about this guy, whether it's reality or fantasy. Well, I've heard Dennis Scott talk about him a few times, but you know what I'm saying. But the guy's like 13 and 10 every night. He blocks, he steals, high percentage from the field, good percentage from the free throw line, and he's a big part of the future plan in Orlando. The guy's just got to stay more healthy, but trust me, if you like sleep on the center position and you're out there getting guards and forwards, you're like, man, I need a center, take Nick Vucevic. Rounding out my center list is Andre Drummond of the Pistons at number 10. And Big Andre didn't play much for USA Basketball. That's okay. He's going to be playing a lot for your team. He's a double-double walking. There's no question about that. Blocks a ton of shots. He's a good steal guy. He's got really quick, active hands, and they're soft. So when he gets like a deflection hitting his hands, it doesn't go to somebody else for the steal. It lands right in his mitts for the steal. We got to get that free throw percentage up a little bit, but hey, wait a minute. Haven't we talked about Wilt and Shaq and Dwight and all these guys? Hey, Drummond, you keep doing that double-double thing with all the D, I will forget about that free throw percentage.